There are very few products that divide people's opinion quite like a Tesla. Some people absolutely love them, other people hate them before they've even sat in one. And honestly, I think a lot of that has actually very little to do with the car itself. Whether it's Elon Musk, social media, or electric vehicles in general, Tesla has become one of the most talked about companies in the world. Now, firstly, do I agree with everything that Elon Musk says or does? Absolutely not. But can anyone deny that he is one of the most influential entrepreneurs of our generation? I don't think anyone can. Tesla completely changed the conversation around electric vehicles. Before Tesla was on the scene, nobody had an electric car. Since Tesla came onto the market, they have exploded. Not only is pretty much every manufacturer now switching over to having an EV option, even Ferrari recently have come out with an electric vehicle. But there is tons of other competition flooding onto the market, especially out of China, that has absolutely exploded. Before Tesla, EVs was something most people barely considered. Today, every major manufacturer is investing billions into electric cars. Whether you love Tesla or hate Tesla, they've changed the automotive industry forever. And after living with my 2022 Tesla Model Y for over 1,300 days and nearly 90,000 kilometers, I think I've got a pretty good idea of what Tesla get right, and of course, where there's a lot of room for improvement. Back in 2022, I paid 74,000 Australian dollars drive away for this car. For the rear-wheel drive Model Y in white, that is not cheap. In the US, this car was roughly around $40,000. So yes, this is a premium purchase. But after nearly 4 years, I genuinely think this was worth every dollar. Now you might be wondering, Lockie, why are you reviewing a car? And look, that's a pretty fair question. But honestly, I don't see this as just a car. I see my Tesla as one of the biggest pieces of technology I own. If you're someone who loves tech, this is basically a computer on wheels. The minimalist interior, the giant touchscreen, the software, the app, the over-the-air updates, the entire ownership experience feels much closer to owning an iPhone than it does owning a traditional car. And I absolutely love that. One thing that still impresses me to this day is just how flawless the ownership experience is. I walk up to the car, it unlocks automatically, I sit down, put my foot on the brake, select drive, and I'm off. No keys, no start button, and no pressing unlock. Then I arrive somewhere and I simply get out and walk away. The car locks itself, and after living with it for nearly 4 years, it's just one of those things that makes the car ownership experience just so easy. And one of the huge features of this car is the Tesla app itself. Honestly, it's one of the best apps I've ever used. I can preheat the cabin in winter, pre-cool it during summer, which is honestly a game changer here in Australia, open the boot, check where the car is, monitor charging, even check if I've left my window open. Everything happens from my phone, and after a while, it just becomes second nature. Then there's the software. This car has genuinely become better over time. Think about that. When was the last time you owned something for over 4 years? And it genuinely got better over that period. Tesla regularly pushes over-the-air software updates that add new features, improve existing ones, and fix bugs. The car sitting in my driveway today is genuinely better than the one I drove off the lot in 2022. Very few manufacturers are doing software this well. One feature that often gets overlooked is premium connectivity. Because the car has its own cellular connection, it's always online. So I'm waiting to pick someone up, charging the car, or just have a few minutes to spare. I've got instant access to Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and web browsing directly from the center display. It becomes my own personal entertainment system on the road. It's not a feature that you would think about when you buy a car, but after nearly 4 years, it's genuinely one I'd miss. Then there's one of the biggest things that probably scares people from EVs, and that's the charging. This is probably one of the biggest misconceptions people have about owning an electric vehicle: range anxiety. Whenever someone asks me about it, I genuinely ask them this question: when was the last time you drove out your driveway and you had a full tank of fuel? Most people don't. You drive until you're running low, then you stop and you fill up. With an EV, it's completely different. Because I charge at home, every single morning I wake up, unplug my car, and drive away with theoretically what is a full tank. I've never had to detour to a petrol station before work. I've never had to stand there holding a fuel nozzle. I just get up and go every morning. The car just simply charges while I'm asleep. And once you've lived with that for a few years, it's genuinely hard to imagine going back. And then there are the running costs. After nearly 90,000 kilometers, I've genuinely saved thousands. Not only on fuel, but also servicing. Charging at home is dramatically cheaper than filling up a petrol or diesel car every week, and the maintenance is incredibly minimal. And because there's no petrol engine, there's no oil changes, no spark plugs, no changing fuel filters, and no basic engine servicing. Another huge benefit is regenerative braking. Most of the time I'm able to use one pedal driving, which uses the electric motor to slow the car down, which means I'm not using the brake pads just as much, so I have never had to replace them so far. I recently had them checked and the brake pads are barely even worn. People often focus on the purchase price, but it's when you add up all these savings along the way, you start to realize it's actually a pretty good deal. Now, of course, this isn't a perfect car. The road noise could definitely be improved. The suspension is a little bit firm and the automatic wipers drive me a little crazy. And there are a couple of other features that I totally wish this car had, especially considering the price tag that I paid. Thankfully though, Tesla has actually listened. The latest Tesla Model Y has now got the rear screen in the back, which I always thought was something that was missing, which allows the passengers in the back to not only view entertainment like Netflix and YouTube, but also controlling the climate controls in the back of the car. The newer model also has ventilated seats, which here in Australia is a must. Because of the car having a glass roof, the sun beats into the vehicle, so when you leave it parked out in the sun for a little while and come back, it is an absolute sauna. However, you can utilize the preconditioning in the car to cool the whole vehicle down, which makes getting into that hot car just a little bit easier. Would all of these new features make me upgrade today? Honestly, no. Because the things that I love most about this car honestly haven't changed at all. It's still the software, it's still the app, it's still the charging experience, and it's just how easy the car is to use. For those reasons, I wouldn't need to upgrade just yet. I may as well stick out this car for a little bit longer. After over 1,300 days and nearly 90,000 kilometers, I can honestly say this car has never missed a beat. And that's probably the biggest compliment I can give it. It starts every morning, it gets me quietly to where I need to go, it costs very little to run, it's practical, and it's packed with tech. And somehow it still feels very futuristic even 4 years later. So would I buy this car again? Absolutely, without hesitation. Not because it's perfect, because it isn't, but because every single day it makes my life easier. If you're thinking about a Tesla, my advice is simple. Don't buy one because of Elon Musk, and don't avoid one because of him either. Buy it because of the car. After living with it for nearly 4 years, I genuinely think the Tesla Model Y is one of the best cars on the road today. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoy long-term tech reviews just like this one, consider subscribing, and click this video here. This one's been recommended for you.